What is up, my fellow weebs? Chrono here, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how you can take the event gear and get yourselves fully set up for Lucille exploration in case you're still lagging a bit behind. So I have done this video once beforehand, and we did use event gear back then as well, but the event gear this time around is actually a bit better. So the August event gear is, or the autumn event gear, excuse me, is actually pretty freaking solid. So we're going to take that gear and use it to set ourselves up pretty powerfully going into Lucille exploration. Now, if you're curious why I'm so kind of focused on Lucille exploration, it's primarily the gearing process that is used to move your way towards best in slot gear. Now, you don't have to set yourself up completely with best in slot gear, but getting yourself set up from Lucille exploration is actually really good gear that'll get you even going through things like Solus, so on and so forth. That's where you're looking at the upper 150, 155 potencies is where you're going to get that Lucille exploration gear and get yourself really powerful. But I've mentioned beforehand how these events make it virtually free to get into Lucille exploration, and that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do today. Now, for those of you guys who understand how to properly augment and what you're looking to do, I'm going to give you guys kind of the cheat sheet so you can just jump ahead. You don't have to worry about watching the entire video for just small pieces of information. But for anyone who's not 100% sure what they're going to want to do, just stick around. I'm going to go through the entire process step by step on this character actually, so should be pretty dope. Now, as far as gearing goes, you're pretty much just going to want to pick up a weapon and armor. Now, I would highly recommend just doing your daily of limited quest first. It's not a difficult quest. It's fairly quick, fairly straightforward. People are doing it in all different types of gear. I would just not pay attention to them and get it done. Get your daily done, and you're looking for about 55,000 seasonal points. If you already have that 55,000 seasonal points, you're good to go ahead and start. An extra 10,000 per weapon that you need to pick up. Now, for us, it would be, of course, the soaring blades, and we'd be picking up the armor. Now, I already grabbed my armor because, of course, a previous iteration of this recording did not go well, so I did have to scrap that, but we've already got the armor. It's 15k a piece. It gets us up to 55 total, so 45k for the armor and 10k for the weapon. Now, the main reason for this armor and these units and this weapon is because of the way that they're currently set up. Now, you can see these are already plus 60. They've already got 5 augments on them, and realistically, you only need to swap out a couple of augments to make these stronger. So for those of you guys who want to skip ahead, or those of you guys who want to just get the answer to get this taken care of, what we're looking at doing is replacing Ale Domina, Tremble, and adding a third unit, or adding a third augment. What we're going to do is we're going to take Ale Domina, replace it with Gigas. We're going to take Trippable, replace it with, what was it? Stat. So whatever main stat you're using, in my case, it'll be Might. And then the extra one we're going to add in here is going to be Meltech Doable. So you technically could replace Trippable with Meltech Doable. It doesn't really matter what order you're going in. You can't have Trippable and Meltech Doable together. So we'll just say that's the case. But we want to replace those. If, let's say, for example, you happen to have some leftover Dominas, let's say you've got Steer Domina, you can go with that instead of Gigas Might 3. Or if you have Gigas Might 4s, that's also a really good choice to go in there. And if you happen to have something insane, like something like a capsule, you can go ahead and slot that in any of these slots over top of any of them. I would probably slot it in over the Meltech Doable in that case. I believe that is the weakest of the augments you're looking at using outside of Gigas 3, if you're not going with Gigas 4. So once more, since that was a lot of information, we're swapping out Trippable and Ale Domina. Our choices are going to be Meltech Doable or one of the capsules, like say one of the Addy capsules or XT capsules if we've got one, a stat, and Gigas, whether it be 3 or 4, depending upon how much money we have access to. Now we're probably gonna be able to go Gigas 4 on this ship because we've got about 6 mil, but I chose ship 4 specifically to do this on because they tend to be a little bit more expensive since the community is a little bit smaller on ship 4. Now with the weapon, it's gonna be a little bit different. The weapon we want to leave the Setsun on here. This is very powerful for the current event. However, this has a Roddy Soul, which we don't want to keep. A Roddy Soul is actually pretty bad. It's 2.75, and you very rarely need all potency on a weapon outside of like screenshot farming. Basically, you don't need to have something like 2.75 potency. You can just have a main stat. So honestly, whatever soul you want to use, that's 3%. Just go ahead and switch it out for that. Other than that, we're going to be switching out the Ale Domina. We're going to be adding in a stat. So this one's really, really easy. We can swap Il Domina for Gigas. We can swap Il Domina for what else? What was the other one that we had? Meltech Doable if you want to. It just depends on what you have access to. The idea is you want to get as much potency as you possibly can. So whatever of those options you have available to you that you can go ahead and slot in, that's what you're looking to do, is just flat potency, because we're getting so much crit chance from the seasonal augment as well as the potential already, along with our subclass choice, which will be Slayer with this setup. We're definitely going to be using Slayer since we're not going to be 100% crit. We have access to a ton of crit chance. We want to take advantage of as much potency as possible. All right. So for those of you guys who aren't sure of how this process works or where to start, I'm going to go through it step by step with you all so you can see it in real time. This is going to be a bit more of a long form video, so feel free to kick back and relax. And I will show you guys my overall process. Note, you might hear a bit of typing. That's pretty much unavoidable. Lucky to us, this person has 130. We know we need 40 total. That is for our weapon in 3 units. So let's go ahead and buy that. That's 40K. Very easy. Let's take a look at our Gigas prices. I'm actually curious. I didn't check before. So that would be 600K per unit. I don't want to invest that amount, so I don't think it's worth it for me. How much is Gigas 3? Now, Gigas 3 is a little bit more divisive because Gigas 3, well, can you be 3? Gigas 3 is only 2.5 instead of 2.75. So we're going to pick these up, but it's going to depend on what we're replacing, because we want to go 2.75 and higher. We need 19 of these. I can do math, I promise. So 40K for 40 of them. So we have plenty of those. We also want a stat. I'm a fan of Didal Soul personally. If I can spell and not hit anything else on my desk. Quick tip, if you're ever in the situation I'm in and you can't figure out the name of the soul you're looking for, just type in soul in the augment section and it'll pull up all the augments with the name soul. Makes life easy for you. You can just then select it and just copy paste it right over. And then just add in a C/ for capsule. And you're good to search. And it looks like Didal Soul 4s are 1K here. I mean, mostly 1K. I think they go up to 2, it looks like. Make sure that, okay. So we do want to make sure we get 40 of these. Now we can end up not taking 40. We can just take a few. So we can go with like 10. What was it? Yeah, just 10. Was it the weapon? Yeah, I think the units have Aegis Soul on them. So you can opt to not replace the Aegis Soul. It's totally fine. But I'm getting as much PP as possible playing Bouncer. Maybe it's not as important to you. It just depends on the individual. The last thing we want to grab is Meltech Doables. So Meltech Doable 4. These are 5K a piece. This is where it's a little bit more pricey, because these are, people are starting to notice basically that these are actually very useful. So these are a bit too expensive for you. Like I mentioned, the idea is we want to get as much potency overall as possible. So just try to, I guess, suss out realistically how much more potency you can get out of your options. I'll leave a link in the video description to the Visiphone where it'll list all of the augments. So you can just kind of go through and see which augments you want to go with. The ones I mentioned are primarily the cheapest ones. I know some people are like, oh, I don't like taking Alt Secreta, or, you know, what about something like Dreadkeeper 4? While Dreadkeeper 4 is useful, used the right way, using more than one Dreadkeeper 4 right now because of how much crit we have access to is pretty detrimental. If you're ever curious about like how much something actually weighs for your damage, I have a video where I go over how to use a damage calculator, where you can tell how much you're actually getting out of your setup. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. It's on the channel, but I would highly recommend you check it out on your own, see how it works out for you. So, oh, we did forget one thing. We need to 61 all of these. So that is going to be a bit more difficult for us here, because I did just recently do some trade-ins and actually snag all these on ship 3. Unfortunately, that means we are going to have to purchase them, but for you, I would highly recommend just grabbing some exchanges. So change materials, old items, as you can see here. Oh wait, oh no, we didn't. I don't have any grinders here because I don't play on ship 4 very often. You will probably have tons of grinders. It's about 500 grinders. We'll get you 10 of these, and you'll get 10 of these. 10 basically guarantees you 1 upgrade, so you'll be able to upgrade your weapon guaranteed. You'll upgrade 1 unit guaranteed. If you get a great success, you can upgrade 2 units if they both get a great success specifically. Or if you have 100% for great successes, that actually works. But let me go and grab these gold Prim Sword 2s and the gold armor 2s. One sec. All right. Now, as you can see, we do have 10 of these swords and 30 Prim armors. Oh man, you guys on ship 4 are kind of vile with posting these. Some people post a lot of these items where they'll change the prices in between, and hopefully you'll buy a bunch of them at once. The idea is that, you know, you don't want to back out and you're just buying things, not paying attention. But oh, okay, so we do have 100%. We're gonna save that one for our units because we do have the swords here, so we're not gonna worry about burning them. Oh, I also used the wrong gold swords. That'd have been so bad if I used that on those. That would have sucked pretty bad. So well, we decided to save it. Plus 20s, which truth be told aren't very useful these days outside of upgrading things before they hit 60. So cool, that does get us 61, and of course a great success then, so now we can get a 62 easier, but we're not going to really worry too much about that. And for anyone who's going through this, maybe you're a bit newer, do not under any circumstances ever combine these. It's just not worth it. It actually gives you less overall experience because of the augment that's on here that actually gives you the experience. It's not a good look. Just do these separate. I know it's a pain, but it is what is giving you the best return on investment. Looks like we only had 1 of those. We did get another great success, so we got lucky there. You can just get lucky. It's a 10% chance normally. It's 30% right now because of the event. Kind of the thing here when it comes to PSO2, and why these events don't really bother me very much, is because events are kind of where you start to do your catch-up, or when new players get a lot of resource in a very short period of time. So it's really, really comfortable that way. All right, cool. So we're 61 everything because these units, I won't say these weapons and this armor, but these units and this weapon come at plus 61 or plus 60, but level 70 unlocked. And the weapon already has its potential at level 6. That's really, really comfortable. Really nice for us to go ahead and set ourselves up very easily. So now we're 61 everything. Next we're gonna do is add our augments. Now, this is gonna be painful for me personally because I don't have a bunch of 10%, and I don't believe I have the resources to trade them because I think I already did on another ship today, or ship this week. So yikes to me, unfortunately, but that's totally fine. For you, it'll be much simpler. Let's see here. So 2.75, we're gonna go with this 3. We know we're replacing 2, replacing the soul, we're replacing, oh no, we need to do these 3. Yeah, so it's these 3 here. So with these 3 here, because we need to replace 3, we need to add 1. So we're going with a Didal Soul, Might, and Mastery because we aren't 100% crit, so we do want to keep that Mastery there. We're going to go with Alt Secreta because Alt Secreta is going to give us more potency floor, and again, we don't have 100% crit, so we do want to keep that. We definitely need to keep Setsune, so we're dropping Ale Domina and we're swapping out a Roddy Soul. And we're adding in an extra augment. Okay, we do at least have 10%, so that's nice. I'm not sure how long those are going to last. We did fail a Might. Not the end of the world, honestly, so that's okay. For this, I think I need 4 different things to add in, right? So we can opt to not replace the Aegis Soul, which I think I'm going to. We can just leave it with these 3 and leave the Didal Soul out, because if we lose the Didal Soul, it's going to kind of suck. So the Aegis Soul is going to be a little bit less PP, but it is a bit more HP overall, so that's very nice. And I know some people are thinking, oh, well, you know, you can do something like you know, Stira Domina. I mean, people already don't like Alt Secreta as it is. I'm not going to personally recommend Stira Domina, but you absolutely can go for that if you'd like to. Definitely a decent choice. Order is just my preference. You don't have to worry about it specifically, but we just left 10%, so let's use them. Okay, that one went fine. So that's, I think I just, wait, did I goof? Oh no, the first one was the weapon. Okay, I was like, did I just goof? And I was like, did I just goof and like mess up by augmenting something multiple times, and no, I didn't. I wouldn't have been able to. Augmenting sometimes just can't wrap your head around it all the way, but it's best just take your time, honestly. Again, I have my own order to put things in. We're out of the 10%, so we're just rocking the 85%. Very nice. And then we have one more unit to do. We've got to go back and fix that might. And I'm not using those Didal souls, which, I mean, again, is fine. They weren't very expensive, so. Now, there is one downside to this. I am going to have to swap over to my ship 3 character to show you guys the final result, because this character is not 75. And my other character's already got all this set up. So you guys will be able to see something very similar. Pretty much, I think the exact same augments, actually. So that's super cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and slot that on. So we did get lucky. We just need to go ahead and add in the might on this last weapon, which, again, of all things to fail, that might was pretty solid. Even though we know everything is a 50%. I guess I can also show this off as well in the mix, in case someone's like, oh man, I just have 0 money altogether. I can't make any money at all. Just keep in mind, doing your dailies and your weekly is going to make you roughly about $1 mil, close to 2. And you can also trade stuff in for Genesis points. So like that 10 I need, I can trade in 500 Genesis points for it. I can get Alt Secreta from here. I can get Dreadkeeper 4. Again, if you're going to use Dreadkeeper 4, only use 1. Like, when I say 1, I mean like on 1 armor piece. Any more than that has got a lot of diminishing returns, because you just aren't getting much from the potency floor. Yes, it does increase your average DPS, but as long as you're critting and how much crit you have access to in the game currently, it's just not getting used. So the more we get crit, the less useful it becomes. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the 500. I've been saving up my my Genesis points to buy everything from the Genesis shop all at one shot. That knocks me back by 500, but that's not the end of the world. You can pick that up, or you can of course get it from the event shop. There's augments here too. I think I picked the wrong thing. I did. So keep in mind, you can pick up your stat. You can pick up souls here. Freed souls, not a bad choice. Again, there's your Dreadkeeper, and then your Mel Raw and your Raw Tech, or Mel Tech if you need that. I think I already bought the Mel Techs, is why it's not here. Yeah, I bought the Mel Techs already. So yeah, so there's a lot of ways you can pick up these augments for free, basically. They're not very expensive. They're pretty easy to do. We just slot in this might. I'm about to say something that I don't want to speak into existence, but I'm going to say it anyway. And it's a bad idea, but like, imagine this continuously fails. What are we looking at? Okay. Okay. I was really afraid that was going to keep going. All right. So we are level 70. And if we slot in all of our gear, that's got us at a whopping 3439. I know that's not high enough to do Lucille exploration, but again, we are only level 70. Let's jump over to our ship 3 character, who has the same gear. I think the only benefit my ship 3 character has is, I believe I went with Gigas 4 on here over Meltech Doable. And you know what? Just for posterity's sake, I may swap it over on a ship 3, but you can actually see that it doesn't make much of a difference. And I'll show you guys that really quick. Give me one sec. Just a really quick heads up. As you guys can see, Meltech Doable, the amount of BP you gain from it is 7. And if we go to Gigas Might 4, it's 11 BP. So it's a difference of about 4 BP overall. Let's see how much that actually matters. Now, here I am over on my ship 3 character. You can see still the same weapon, still the same units. There is a multi-weapon, but the multi-weapon does not affect your what's it called? I can't think of the word. It doesn't affect your battle power at all. It's actually the biggest scam of this process is the multi-weapon. It's super expensive. As you can see, we have 3641 battle power. Now we know the augments we chose to use are fairly the same. Actually, they're exactly the same. I think actually, now that I look at it, we went with Gigas Might here when we should be using, oh no, we used Doable. We used both. Okay, we're good there. And on the weapon, we have Doable here. We have Secreta, Mastery. Oh, we didn't go. Hang on. Okay, so no, we're good. I didn't do that. What did I do with that Gigas Might 4? I could have sworn I used it here. I had to have used it somewhere else. There might have been something else I was doing with that Gigasmite for. Maybe I used it on my weapon on my main ship. Either way, it looks like we're good to go there. No big deal. Take a look at the LTQ. You can see that we were high enough to get into there. It was only 34.13. We were definitely higher than that on ship 4. And if we look at Lucille Exploration, it is 36.15 and we are 36.41. We actually break through it fairly easily without spending much money. And if you go back and take a look at how much we spent back on ship 4, you'll see that we spent less than $1 mil actually. We ended at like 5.5 or something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but it was definitely less than $1 mil because I started at 6.1. So very easy, very straightforward. Let me know if I miss anything in the comments below, guys. I'll be leaving a pinned comment in case there was anything else that we could have done differently or anything else that might work out a bit better for you. But I found that this is the easiest way to get yourself set up to get into Lucille very, very quickly and get yourself moving towards working towards that in-between sweet spot between best and slot and still very, very powerful. If for any reason there is a change to this process, just feel free to look at the pinned comment. Well, like the video if you guys found anything useful, dislike it if you didn't, and of course subscribe if you want to keep up with our content moving forward. Thanks for watching all to the end. Take care, everyone. Peace out.